Fighting the opposition party, standing up for what she believes is right for California.
The Republican bill is not even a health care bill. It's a tax bill disguised as a health care bill and wreaking terrible damage on California.
Taking charge, calling out the GOP for interfering in the Russia investigation.
So what I'm pushing is an independent commission to investigate what happened in our election. Republicans are standing in the way of our getting those facts.
Her no-holds-barred thoughts on President Trump.
I think that he's dangerously close, flirting with abuse of power.
And her Bay Area ties.
San Francisco is heaven on earth. It really is.
Nancy Pelosi is a San Francisco institution, loved by many, scorned by others. There's no denying her political acumen and success. She was first elected to Congress 30 years ago and climbed her way through the political power structure to become Speaker of the House, achieving the highest political office ever held by a woman in this country. How did she get there? Where did she come from? Over the next half hour, we're sitting down for an in-depth, one-on-one interview with a woman who needs no introduction. Can we start with little Nancy in Baltimore? Tell me what that was like as a child growing up there with a political family and kind of how it all started for you.
Well, God very blessed me with my family. When I was born, my father was a member of Congress. That's not the important part. The important part was we were a very devoutly Catholic family, proud of our Italian-American heritage, fiercely patriotic, and staunchly Democratic. And then when I was 7, he became the mayor of Baltimore when I was in first grade. And when I was in college in freshman year, for that year, he was still the mayor of Baltimore. So that's the atmosphere in which we grew up. The public service was a noble calling, and that we all had a responsibility to each other in the community.
You have a thick skin. Did it start because your dad was a congressman and a mayor? Did that present any challenges at school or in social settings that other kids didn't have to worry about? No?
None. Thick skin came later when I was in politics myself.
Did you think what your path would be?
No, I never. I had absolutely no interest. I loved the political arena. I loved public service. That was all what we were about, community.
Right.
But I never thought in terms of running for public office myself, no.
So what did you think you would be doing? Did you have any ideas?
Well, at the time I was rock around the clock 50s teenager by then. So that was my life. I wasn't thinking of what I would be. High school, junior year in high school has to be the greatest time of all, right? No pressure, no nothing, just get ready to go look at colleges. And so, no, I had no interest. My brother, he was the one who was sort of interested in running for office, and he did become the mayor of Baltimore, and he's still the most wonderful public servant I know. He's lovely. But I had absolutely no interest.
So you had a father who was, you know, a political king in Baltimore.
He was like an orator. He was great.
You know, it's kind of a male-dominated world, but you, I mean, even more so then. And then you have all these brothers and the father figure and all of that. And I'm looking at somebody who'd become the highest-ranking female politician in American history back then.
Yeah, but let me just say that having all those older brothers, very protective, just made me want to be even more independent. And my mother was probably the biggest influence. My mother, gosh, in another time, Lord knows what she might have done, because she was so great after having 7 children, being the mom, but also being my father's full partner in public service. And so she was really my role model. And she, not just me, she wanted all young women to reach their aspirations and encourage them to do so. And even later in life, when President Clinton was president and the rest, she'd be so thrilled every time he named somebody, a woman, to a high office. She'd say, make sure they know, make sure she knows I'm praying for her.
And how do you reconcile your religion? Because Catholics have a very traditional conservative view on a lot of things, especially with women. There are no female priests, those kind of, you know, abortion, all of those issues, and you're not in line with some of those things. I'm just,
well, I consider my gift of faith a gift of faith. I love my Catholicism, and I feel that I'm honoring it in the work that I do to feed the Gospel of Matthew, feed the hungry, the list goes on, but also to respect the dignity and worth of every person, the spark of divinity that exists in every person, including myself, so that I have responsibilities that go with it, and to respect the decisions that people make, honoring their own sense of responsibility.
The bishop here in San Francisco kind of waded into the political arena just a few years ago. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember it well.
What was your takeaway from all of that?
Well, no, I'd rather not go into that.
We have much more with Nancy Pelosi coming up. Why she left the East Coast in her late 20s and ended up in San Francisco, paving her path to her monumental political career.
San Francisco is heaven on earth. It really is.
And later, what she really thinks about President Trump and members of the GOP.
Now, I say to my Republican friends, take back your party. This isn't who you are.